A new school year means a fresh start. For families that are looking for a new path to help their child succeed, K-12 could be the perfect fit. K-12 powered schools offer tuition-free, accredited, online public education for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. They know learning isn't one size fits all and will meet your child where they are. K-12 has been a leader in online education for over 25 years. They provide everything a student needs to feel safe, motivated, and thrive in their learning environment. With flexible education options tailored to each child's needs, interests, and goals for the future. K-12's dedicated teachers are trained in virtual instruction and provide real-time support. Plus, students will belong to a vibrant online community with opportunities for extracurricular activities to help them connect with peers and explore interests, all in a setting that works for your family. See how K-12-powered schools can help unlock your child's full potential. Enroll online today at k12.com/FWD. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/FWD. K12.com/FWD.
Yay Media Group.
Welcome to A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast. I'm Kellie Raspberry Evans, and Oh, that's a lot of crickets. That's right. It's more like, instead of a sandwich and some lovin', a sandwich and some crickets tonight. It's just me. That's okay. I am a broadcasting professional. How many years have I been doing this? Certainly, I can create an entertaining podcast all by myself, but that's what I'm going to attempt to do, and hopefully you'll stick along for the ride. First things I want to get to is Alan is here. He is in the vicinity. He just got back actually from a mini motorcycle road trip. My veneers, remember, y'all are the only ones I've told. I haven't mentioned this anywhere else, but I'm still kind of tripping up on them a little bit. But anyway, they're temporaries. I'll get to the rest of that in a minute. But anyway, my best friend since 5th grade, Tomi Jean, she flew in over the weekend. And whenever she does that, the same time every year, it's become kind of a tradition to come in for Halloween. Alan says, my excuse to peace out and go do some of his fun motorcycle stuff. Basically, he's like a Boy Scout on wheels, because he goes around to these different, I guess it's sort of almost like a scavenger hunt, where he has to find certain landmarks and take a picture in front of it with this number to prove that he was actually there. And once he collects enough of them, I think it's 25 within a certain amount of time, he gets a patch, just like a Boy Scout, but he's a biker Boy Scout. So anyway, he just got back from that, and he had to pick up our boys, Cole and Dylan. Just a little surprise twist. We were supposed to get them for Halloween, but instead he had to get them today. And that's fine too. And I asked Tomi Jean, I said, do you want to come on and do the podcast with me? Now, normally Tomi Jean says, yes, I would be happy to. But tonight she was like, I don't know. She just wasn't feeling it. And I don't blame her. I think I have worn the poor girl out. She's not used to coming to the big city, the big D, as they call Dallas sometimes, even though we're more in the big P called Plano. But that's okay. I'm having a great time with Tomi Jean. The thing about Tomi Jean is when I go to visit her in South Carolina, I don't think a lot of people understand that we are really good with just sitting and visiting. We don't need to do a lot other than go out and get something to eat, maybe drive. Let's just go look at, maybe TJ Maxx or I don't even know what they have in Florence anymore. It might be a TJ Maxx. I'll go do that. And then we'll go, sit and visit with Aunt Velma and Cousin Cindy. And then we'll go back to her house and just sit and visit there. And we are really cool with that. And when she comes to see me in the big city, I want to show her a good time. But Tomi Jean is really just fine sitting and visiting. And, that's what she's doing right now out in the living room. The World Series is on. The boys want to watch. Alan went to go pick up some buffalo wings, some wings from Wingstop. And I said, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to knock out a podcast and do it solo. That's what I chose to do. So I'm happy that you are joining me for this this adventure. But I am going to tell you basically what I've had Tomi Jean running around doing with me when we're not just sitting and visiting. Like I said, she arrived this weekend. She arrived on Friday night. I had just gotten back from New Orleans. Did we talk about this on the last podcast? I'm not sure. But there's a company called Stella Jets. It's a woman-founded company. There's not a lot of female-owned air companies in the world of aerospace. I think that's the right terminology. But anyway, a wonderful lady named Tia, I think it's Manzoni, if I'm pronouncing that right. But Tia, anyway, she approached me last February, something like that. I was doing the Go Red for Women event in Fort Worth. And she gave me her beautiful business card for Stella Jet, said she just started this company and she was launching it. It was really excited and wanted to hopefully do something with the Kid Craddock Morning Show to promote her brand. And I said, hopefully the time will be right and we can do something, because who doesn't want to fly in a private jet? Raise your hand. I know there's some people that maybe did, but I actually have, I'm not bragging. I'm just stating a fact. I'm not dropping a dime, as Alan would say. But the fact is, I've been in a private jet a handful of times. It's not my regular, listen, I've never paid for it. I've always been an invited guest. The first time is when my ex-husband, he worked for a very wealthy man who owned a private jet. And for his Christmas gift, he flew him and me with him and his then girlfriend to Aspen. So that was my first trip on a private jet. Very cool. Very cool. And then the second time was with Mark Cuban. Okay. So remember back in the day, Mark Cuban was on Dancing with the Stars, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, if y'all aren't familiar. And made a lot of money selling, he invented online radio streaming or something, the technology to do that, and sold it to Yahoo and made billions. Anyway, he literally went online and bought a private jet. I'm not sure if that's the one we flew in. It might've been, a different one, but that's what he did. And he did a contest with Kid Craddock, may he rest in peace, where we would have somebody fly with me on the private jet to LA to watch a broadcast of the competition with Mark dancing. And so that's what we did. So that was my second time. I think a third time, Kid, he chartered one, I think through a buddy that, I don't know if he chartered it or paid for it, whatever. He had a buddy that had a private plane. We flew down to San Antonio or something like that. And now this time it worked out for us to fly on Stella Jets. We went down to New Orleans because Taylor Swift was going to be performing there this past weekend. It was a big deal. The whole city had just transformed into Taylor mania. There were lots of Swifties walking the streets. Like I said, the streets of New Orleans have never been safer than they were when Taylor Swift was there for her concert, because everybody was, it's such a good energy, good time, lots of moms and their kids, and it was just great, and a lot of protective dads too. But all the hotels had, were doing something Taylor Swift themed. Like we were at the Lowe's Hotel, and we actually were one of the Taylor Swift themed events, so we had Anna on our show. She does the Taylor Swift podcast 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, I think is the official title. Anyway, she was there, and a lot of little girls just adore Anna, and they came up to her, and they were just one little girl was literally crying. She was so excited to see Anna, and they were sharing friendship bracelets. I got a few myself. This one girl came up to me and she gave me a friendship bracelet, and it said, "I am." I said, "Oh, that sounded so motivational." She said, "You know why I did that?" And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because when I do love letters to Kelly, you are the love expert, you say, 'I am.'" And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And so I have "I am," and somebody else made one that said Kelly. So I have "I am Kelly." I got another one that a little girl asked me what my favorite album was, and I panicked, but I do like folklore a lot. So she gave me a beautiful folklore bracelet. It was just fun. It was just a sweet event. But I will tell you this. All right. We haven't talked about this on the Kid Craddock Morning Show. See, this is why you need to come to a Sandwich and Some Lovin', because I'm giving y'all scoop we may or may not ever talk about on the Kid Craddock Morning Show. But here we go. So this woman and her boyfriend came up, and the girlfriend, they actually went through the line twice. They were there right when we got there, and they kind of hung around for this meet and greet we did until the line died down, and they came back through because I guess the girlfriend just had some more things she wanted to say. She was a huge fan of Part-Time Justin. That was her favorite. And that's fine. We have people come through the lines and they're like, JC, you're my favorite. Anna, of course, the little Taylor Swift fans. Anna, you're my favorite. And every once in a while, usually from the moms, I get, you're my favorite. But they're always like whispering in my ear, don't tell anybody you're my favorite. And I said, oh, I'm going to tell everybody, but I really don't. It's just a sweet thing. Everybody gets their turn being the favorite. However, so this woman, bless her heart, wherever they're talking to her boyfriend, and he was saying, oh my gosh, you do not know. He was gushing about how much he loves her and, she's everything to him. And he would do anything to make her happy, and just coming up there to meet the Kid Craddock morning show. And it would just make her so happy. So we kind of joined in the conversation she was having with Justin, and she stood back and she said, Justin, you're my number one favorite. Anna, you're number two. JC, you're my third favorite. Kellie, you're number four. And Al's like, what is happening? Al was her least favorite. All right. So moving forward, it is not necessary to rank us. I mean, you can, in your head, that's okay. I bet everybody can do that in their head. Well, I can rank my 5 favorite on the Kid Craddock morning show, and it changes from day to day depending on who's been nice to me and who I'm kind of put out with. But it's not necessary to do that to us in our faces, because even if I had been her favorite, which I was not, I was number 4. I just, it's awkward even if you are the favorite when they do something like that. It's embarrassing. It's awkward. So you don't need to do that. And then we had another woman come up and she said to me, I listened to A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. She looked at JC and said, I listened to Chatty Daddies. And then she looked at Anna and said, I don't listen to your podcast. See, why? Why? It's really strange. But I told Anna, she was like, what was that about? I said, I think sometimes people just, I'm guilty of this. I put my foot in my mouth a lot of times because you just don't know what to say, but you're scrambling to say something and it comes out wrong. I do this a lot around celebrities. I get real flustered and tongue-tied, and I'll say something just stupid and I could kick myself. But then I realize they've met 5 million people on any given day. What I said isn't going to stick with them longer than it takes them to get on to the next person and the next conversation. But us on the Kid Craddock morning show, that hurts our feelings. So anyway, it was just, we had a great time. I just wanted to point out those 2 little things, and then we can move on. But we had a great time. The Lowe's New Orleans Hotel, a gorgeous space. It's really in a great location for shopping. You're close enough to, if you're going to any event at their, arena there. I don't know what they call their stadium there, but they're having the Super Bowl there. And I was asking them at the hotel, we were talking about the room availability and how everything was getting, there were still rooms left for, Taylor Swift being in town, but he said they have been sold out for the Super Bowl. He said pretty much when a city is announced as a Super Bowl city 5 years or whatever in advance, the hotels all go. So they're booked out well in advance. We were talking a little bit about that, but it's really the Lowe's New Orleans, a great location if you're going to be going to any events there as well. But anyway, just had a wonderful time. And then we flew home on our Stella jet, and it was just really a great experience. So that was on Friday. And so I rushed home. Now, my friend Amy, she was day drinking at our favorite restaurant, we love Albernay's, the original location, and North. If you're ever in the Dallas area, those are our favorites. And she was at the North location. She says, come on, we're day drinking. I said, I can't. Tomi Jean's coming, and I got to go make sure the bathroom's clean for her, the guest room's ready. I got to clear out some space because the guest room closet, which is also Tomi Jean's closet, that's Tomi Jean's room. It's jam-packed with my out-of-season clothes, plus stuff that Emma Kelly's trying to sell on Poshmark, plus stuff that I'm gathering for the swap party, plus it's my Christmas gift and birthday gift closet, gift wrap closet, everything is shoved in there. So I had to clear space for her to hang her things, just things like that. And I was like, if I even have a martini after, the time I had in New Orleans, I wasn't going to make it. So anyway, I came home to get everything ready for Tomi Jean, and then went and picked her up at the airport Friday night. And then Saturday, we hit the ground running. And I want to tell you all about that. But first, for my fall makeup, I like to go for richer lip shades, a bolder smoky eye. But if I'm in a hurry, a swipe of lip gloss, a little mascara works just fine. But whatever the vibe, Thrive Cosmetics has got me covered. You've seen their viral tubing mascara, the one, that cute turquoise tube all over social feeds. It gives you the look of lash extensions without the damage or the price tag. Now, that was my very first Thrive Cosmetics purchase. Next up was the Brilliant Eye Brightener. I use the Stella Champagne shade every day. By itself, it just brightens and wakes up my tired eyes. Or I add one or more of their other buildable shades like Muna. It's a mauve taupe shimmer, really pretty, and creates more drama. Thrive just added 8 new matte shades too. And I know you'll love their sheer strength hydrating lip tint. It's a muted rose Cara that's become my go-to for fall. A little tint, a lot of hydration, no mirror needed. You can't mess it up. You just swipe it and go. And of course, I love the heart of Thrive Cosmetics because for every product you buy, Thrive donates to 8 major causes, including those that, we work closely with, like veterans organizations and victims of domestic violence and those impacted by cancer. So spice up your fall look with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/sandwich. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/sandwich for 20% off your first order. You are going to love Legacy Box. Becoming a parent changes how you look at memories. While we're savoring and saving every moment with our kids, suddenly you start to realize a lot of important memories from our childhood. They're trapped on VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, photo albums, crammed into boxes labeled "Do Not Throw Away" and shoved into an attic. Those are at risk of being destroyed by heat, moisture, disaster, time. And once they're gone, they're gone. That's why you need Legacy Box now. They're the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. And the process is so simple. They send you a Legacy Box and you fill it up with old VHS tapes, pictures, film reels, slides, DVDs, whatever you've got. Their team in Tennessee carefully digitizes it all by hand. They send you back the originals plus digital files on the cloud or a thumb drive. Ordering a Legacy Box is one of the best things I've done for my family because now instead of just telling my kids about that crazy vacation I took to the mountains when I was a kid, I get to show them and relive it with them. And right now, during Legacy Box's Father's Day sale, you can save big while preserving your family's history. Visit legacybox.com/sandwich to get started today. That's legacybox.com/sandwich. It's the little things that make a big difference in how I feel. Now, for me right now, it's about stretching. I didn't realize how stiff I was until I started doing it. I love when I can stretch a little further than before. It makes me feel refreshed when I'm done. And a little makeup refresh can make all the difference too with Thrive Cosmetics, my go-to clean makeup routine year-round. Now, of course, their Brilliant Eye Brightener and Stella Champagne is always in my makeup bag. Actually, I need to reorder more. I'm almost out. But it comes in 32 shades, and the Shenna Mint Green Shimmer looks really fun for summer. Their Empower Matte Precision Lipstick Crayon, it's really amazing. It gives you a beautiful color that lasts without feeling dry. They have 18 buildable shades, and I love the Dusty Rose Kaiza color. I think that's how you pronounce it. But the best part, for every product you buy, Thrive donates products and funds to help communities thrive. So far, they've given over $150 million in products and cash to over 600 giving partners. This is beauty with purpose. Amplify your summer look with Thrive Cosmetics. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/sandwich for an exclusive 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/sandwich. All right. So Saturday, we had we just kind of messed around all day. Honestly, during the day, I don't really 100% remember what we did because it was all about getting ready for the Halloween party Saturday night at our friend Susan's. Susan she's become a really faithful listener of our podcast. We were friends with her for a while before she started listening. And what she decided to do was to listen to the current episode, but then go back to the beginning. And she's slowly been, coming forward. So she'll mention something we said in like episode 183. We don't have any recollection of that conversation whatsoever. But she said it's been a fun way to get to know us because, she knows us. I mean, your friends only get so deep. Honestly, we were talking the other day. I don't know what half of my friends' husbands do for a living. And now I'm too embarrassed to ask because we've been friends for so long, right? And I probably did find out the first time I met them in passing, but that's like before you're going to be great friends and then you're too embarrassed to ask again. But anyway, I digress. So Susan says she's been able to learn about me and Alan probably for better and for worse by listening to a podcast, but she has gotten into the tradition, these veneers, of throwing an annual Halloween party, costume optional. Okay. Now, if you're going to say costume optional to me, I'm going to opt for no costume. I'm not really big on it. And I know that makes me a party pooper. Now, when Alan and I first started dating and I was still trying to make him think I was really super fun, I would dress up with him. He really thought it was so fun when I did, we did Slash and Axl Rose, and I was Axl Rose. I just flat ironed my hair, bandana, sunglasses. He got fake tattoos. We went all out. He was giddy. He just couldn't love me more. And then after a while, I realized, I don't really have to do this. I mean, I've snagged him now. He's not going anywhere. So, I mean, it's costume optional. I take it literally. So, a few years ago, Tomi Jean and Diana was in town that time and went to Susan's party. We all had camouflage items of clothing. Like I had a camo jacket. Tomi Jean, I think, had a camo sweater. Diana happened to have some camo pants or something. We just went as the camo club. It was just to get by. It was fine. It was fine. But people go all out. And this year we were getting, everybody in our little friend group, they were texting each other. I've been working on my costume for a week. I've been slapping something together today. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, oh Lord, we got to do something. So long story short, what we decided to do was get dressed up, and instead of Alan and me becoming Slash and Axl Rose, Tomi Jean was Slash and I was Axl Rose. Very funny. Tomi Jean totally committed to the bit. At first, when we were posing for photos and she was smiling, I was like, no, you can't smile. Slash and Axl don't smile. They're rock and roll. And so then she put on this mean mug, and it was so funny. All the pictures. We had our red Solo cups that we were posing with. They were empty until they weren't. But it was fun. And then Alan went as his, go-to Negan from The Walking Dead. However, I guess a lot of time has passed. A lot of people didn't know who he was. That was really interesting. And he looks just like Jeffrey Dean Morgan anyway. And then in the costume, they're like, what are you? But we had some fun costumes there. Our friend went as, oh my gosh, that character from Saturday Night Live that says, I'm 50 and kept kicking. That was our friend Andrea Dowling Gullidge, and her husband, Big Strong Trey, went as Nacho Libre. They were really cute. Our friend David Heck, he went as Donald Trump. He was in character, so funny. He was the one we were giggling in at Broken Bow when we were bunkmates with he and his wife Melissa, who went as a really great scarecrow. She said she used to do theater makeup, so it was her chance to pull out her skills. So that was really cute. Susan is an excellent cook. She should be in a cooking competition show. She made this delicious. I need to get the recipe, honestly. I should get the recipe from her for this spiked apple cider type, but it wasn't like cider. It was just this warm, cinnamony, appley deliciousness. Everybody was going nuts over it. So I'm going to get that recipe, and I'll be posting that because that's something you can also make for any upcoming holiday gatherings that you have. It was absolutely a huge hit, the hugest hit of the party. And she did, a great job. Pulled pork and macaroni cheese with that big fat tubes of penne pasta. And it was just great. So anyway, that was Saturday night. A lot of fun. Then on Sunday, we couldn't stay really late at Susan's, and I had one cocktail. That was it. I was like, I got to be a good girl. I don't want to feel bad the next morning, because Alan and I were asked to be the grand marshals for the teddy bear ride that is put on to raise teddy bears and funds for the Children's Advocacy Center of Collin County. They work with children, have been victims of abuse. And so it was really a wonderful event. We got there bright and early. I thought Tomi Jean would be more comfortable riding on the back of Alan's two-wheel motorcycle, but actually that made her a little nervous. And she said she'd feel more comfortable with me, even though Alan's more experienced driver. She just felt more comfortable on my three-wheel Can-Am Ryker. I'm telling you, if you've ever been nervous about, you want to get out there on the open road, maybe your husband or your partner or whatever loves to ride motorcycles, and you want to join in, because it really does. I mean, it helps to have a hobby you can do together. And this Can-Am Ryker, it's so stable. I feel so safe on it. It's so fun and so easy to operate. There's no gears to shift or anything like that. Anyway, she said she'd feel more comfortable with me. And so that's what she did. We got her a helmet, we got her a jacket, we got her some gloves, and she had on her jeans and boots, and we took off, and it was just so much fun. Alan, he had a little too much fun with Elmo, but that's for another podcast when he comes back and joins me. But it was great. You can see the video of it. He posted it on his Moto Alonso Instagram page. I don't know if he posted it on his Moto Alonso YouTube page. I think I'm not sure. I might be talking out my butt here, but I don't know that he updated it this week because, of the motorcycle trip he took. But he's continuously updating, so keep checking back both of those accounts. So it was a wonderful event. We had over 200 riders. They had police departments from several cities along our routes. We rode for it was over an hour and 15 minutes, I'd say. A lot of people don't know what I'm talking about, but we rode up the tollway, up to Salina. We cut over through Anna, and then we, went all through there to McKinney, and then came back down to Plano, and where we stopped and had in a parking lot a big kind of festival with food trucks and vendors and silent auctions and live music. It was fun. But it was so cool because to watch police work traffic. I kind of imagine for a minute, it's like if you're in a motorcade, like not like I'm comparing myself to the president or anything like that, but like a presidential motorcade where the police officers on motorcycles come whizzing around you. They whiz by you really fast and they go up to the next, on-ramp or intersection to stop traffic. And we didn't have to wait for anything. And I felt really kind of bad for people because when you see a police-led or procession, I think a lot of times people think it's a funeral. And I was like, I'm afraid a lot of people think, all these motorcycle drivers or riders are riding for one of their fallen, bikers. But no, we were actually, hopefully they would say, what is this? And look it up and find out it was actually the teddy bear ride for children who are victims of abuse. So hopefully it was that. But I felt kind of bad for people who had to wait for over 200 bikes to get through the intersections. But we kept it moving. Everybody was staying at a pretty good pace. But it was so cool, man. At one point, we were going down Central Expressway up north, though. It was in the north part, not in the heart of Dallas. And the police, just to see them slowly bring traffic to a halt across all these, 4 or 5 lanes of interstate so we could all exit. Man, that was cool. That was really cool. Just about as cool as flying in a private airplane, if you want me to tell you that. I hope we all get to experience that someday. But that's what we did on Sunday. And then Monday, so I have to go to work, but Tomi Jean, she's cool. She gets up and has her coffee and chills. Alan took off Monday on his motorcycle ride. So she's chilling at the house with my dogs and, she's just good. And when I get home, I run to pick her up because I have to go back for my first veneer follow-up appointment. Okay. So I have temporaries on right now, and they're made of some sort of plastic material. If anybody's ever thinking about it, I'm on the radio for a living. So my lisping is probably a little bit more problematic and apparent because, nobody else is saying anything to me. I don't have anybody coming up to me and saying, what's wrong with you? So I don't want anybody to think that this is a bad thing. And anyway, it's just temporary. So Dr. Tightnesser, who is a wonderful dentist in Flower Mound, he did my wisdom teeth extraction, and that's really helped with my teeth grinding. He said, that's your problem. You're not supposed to have your wisdom teeth at this age. So took care of that. And for this one, we did the temporaries. And so basically, the veneers get put in as the temporary so you can see if you like the shape, the size, the color, right? Because you don't want to put anything permanent because it's a really expensive fix if you put the permanent ones in and decide I'm not happy. So, so there's a little excess, cement that he was able to scrape off and kind of, we decided, that maybe I wanted some of my teeth just a tad. I mean, we're talking centimeters, but he wanted me to be so happy because it's an expense. This is a huge investment. But and the color, Alan and I both talked about it, said just, like a shade lighter. I don't want to be I don't like that Hollywood white, that blinding white. I wanted to look natural. But for me, for 50 some years, I have not had white teeth. So for me, seeing anything brighter than I'm used to is kind of shocking anyway. So I'm kind of like a little nervous, a little anxious. And everybody's like, no, that's, it's a good color. So we went just a little shade brighter. I'm really happy about that. And so it's going to take a little over 2 weeks to get my permanents back. And then I'll let y'all know then. But then this little lisp I have, it's going to go away because the the porcelain veneers are thinner. And it's just going to be just a great experience. And I'm excited about it. And so this has been our little secret for a while. But Tomi Jean went with me and she got to do the x-rays and she got to, she was honest. I'm like, what do you think of this? I said, do you see what I see? And she was really honest. She wasn't going to let me walk out of there unless I was very happy. It's really good to take somebody with you. I mean, you and the dentist, it's great. But, the dentist is going to see you in the office, twice a year at the most. You're the one that's going to be out there, drinking wine with your girlfriends, which, by the way, I can't read or drink red wine right now. I don't want to risk staining my temporaries. They're a lot more porous than the permanent porcelain veneers. I can drink red wine and do all that after the fact, but right now I'm having to be a good girl. And but that didn't stop me from drinking a slightly dirty martini. Don't get me wrong, but so I'm excited about that. Got a couple more weeks and then I'll get my permanent. So y'all stick with me for a couple of more lispy podcasts. All right, real quick. I love fall. Lighting candles that smell like pumpkins and leather. Oh, I love that smell, don't you? And pulling out my cozy sweaters. Well, Pair Eyewear makes it so easy and affordable to change up my look for fall and for every season, starting at just $60, and that includes the prescription. With one pair of base frames, you can create literally hundreds of look in a snap, thanks to Pair Eyewear's top frames. I can go from my classic Kirby frames, that's my base, it's in a beautiful blue turquoise, to whimsical fall kittens, or the Mickey Mouse and Friends top frames for our kids' trip to Disney World later this month. They even have a Friends collection of top frames that includes the one with pivot. Really cute. Top frames start at just $25. You can afford to have an entire wardrobe of eyewear to match the season, the holiday, your outfits, your mood, your favorite sports team. And new designs drop every month. Pair Eyewear has frames for adults and kids, a fun virtual try-on. Emma Kellie really liked that. You also get free standard shipping and a flexible 30-day return policy. So fall into a new routine with infinite possibilities from Pair Eyewear. Go to paireyewear.com. Use code LOVIN for 15% off your first pair, and support our show by mentioning that a sandwich and some lovin' sent you please in your post-checkout survey. That's PAIR eyewear.com, code LOVIN. My friend Melissa got some beautiful nativity frames for Christmas last year. Just gorgeous. I don't think I've ever talked about it on this podcast before, but one day I was walking past the windows going upstairs and I noticed this greasy cooking smell. You know what I mean? It turns out it was our blinds. Something about the sun was breaking them down over the years. And who knows how long they were there before we bought our house. We needed new blinds bad, and that's what led me to 3-Day Blinds. I absolutely loved how easy they made the whole process. They send a professionally trained design consultant to your home. It's a free, no obligation, same-day quote. And they've got thousands of options to fit any budget and style. It's not just blinds. They've got shades, shutters, drapery too. 3-Day Blinds even has those motorized smart blinds that work with Alexa. Those are so cool. They take all the measurements. They handle the installation too. And it's perfect because I'm not handy. And what a difference it's made. This is an upgrade that makes your whole house feel refreshed and polished without having to do a big renovation. Right now, get quality window treatments that fit your budget with 3-Day Blinds. Head to 3dayblinds.com/sandwich for their buy one, get one 50% off deal on custom blinds, shades, and drapery. For a free, no charge, no obligation consultation, just head to dayblinds.com/sandwich. One last time, that's buy one, get one 50% off when you head to the 3dayblinds.com/sandwich. You can't scroll your phone for more than 30 seconds without seeing somebody talking about GLP-1s. Maybe you've been close to trying them, but you're not a needle person, or maybe you're looking for a natural alternative. Well, let me introduce you to our podcast sponsor, Veracity. Their Metabolism Ignite, it's a natural plant-based GLP-1 alternative that is doctor recommended and clinically proven to help reduce hunger. Just 2 capsules with breakfast every morning. It's all you need. And one of the first things I noticed was I wasn't thinking about food all day. That food noise you always are constantly battling. Metabolism Ignite has no allergens, no caffeine, no negative side effects, and we love that. It's shown to reduce hunger by 85% and clinically proven to help lose an average of 9 pounds in 90 days. We really love that. Look, this stuff is sold out 10 times for a reason. So before it sells out again, make the switch to GLP-1s the natural way. Head to veracityhealth.co and use sandwich for up to 65% off your order. Once again, that's VERACITY health.co for up to 65% off. Make sure you use our promo code SANDWICH so they know we sent you. All right, so moving on to Tuesday. Oh, you thought Tomi Jean was going to get to relax. No. Well, she actually had the option. I told her, look, I've had this, her visit was on the schedule before this was added to it. I said, you are welcome to come with me. I would have taken her to my mother's, but my mom and dad, they went with my brother to South Carolina to visit families. They're back now, but Mama was gone, and and she came back on Tuesday, like that night. But during that day, I said, well, I can either drop you off at a mall, but you're going to be there for about 5 hours, or you can stay home by yourself, or you can go with me. She said, I want to come with you because I was filming a TV commercial. Okay, everybody dime. No, it's just what I do. Anyway, it's just what I did. So anyway, it was for D&M Leasing. I do radio commercials for D&M. I have done radio commercials for them since Emma Kellie was a toddler, really. And I've had the same leasing agent, Jeff Corin, all this time. And so what they wanted to do was they had another couple who have had a long-term relationship with their leasing agent, and they had me with mine. And so they had me just talking about D&M Leasing and my experience and bragging on Jeff a little bit. And so they filmed it all. Well, the great thing about having Tomi Jean there was she was able to film all the behind the scenes stuff. And so she filmed them, me getting my makeup done and me doing all my testimonials. So I'll be posting a little bit of that behind the scene footage for you as well. I've got to do that. I've got to do Susan's. Ow, Alan. Alan just came in the studio. I wasn't expecting him. Wait. Well, honey, I didn't know you were coming. There. Anyway, so the behind the scenes footage from that. Mm-hmm. And here's Alan. You don't even know what I'm talking about, and you're just going to jump in?
Mm-hmm. So, a couple of things. Number one.
I've already explained your absence.
Number one, I don't gyp the listener. Like somebody I know.
Who?
Number two.
Who?
I go out to get Wingstop, and I come home, and you're hijacking the podcast. What is this, a sandwich? What is this, and some lovin'?
I said it was a sandwich and some crickets, and I played your sound effect.
That's good. I like that. That's creative.
I had to get it done. You said earlier today that you would be fine with me and Tomi Jean doing it. And I was like, that'd be great.
Well, it's
Tomi
kind of a tradition.
Well, Tomi Jean just wasn't.
She wasn't feeling it?
I think she's really tired. I think I've worn her out. And, I was going to do it before you came home right when I was getting ready to come in here and do it. And I didn't want to guilt you into doing it since you'd already kind of, I think, mentally accepted the fact. Well, you accepted that you weren't doing it.
Oh,
and
well,
so
I seriously thought you and Tomi Jean.
I know you did. I'm not mad at all. Mm-hmm. But and then you were like, oh, great, I can go get wings with the boys and watch the World Series. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I was just like, I'm just gonna come here and do it.
All right, well, that's fine.
But
I had okay. I had good stories to tell, but whatever.
Well, you've been home for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I've been in here recording. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you couldn't have come in earlier.
No, I was eating. So
that's very important.
I had to nourish my body. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, do you want to share a story, or do you want to save
that
for the next podcast?
What have you been talking about?
About my time with Tomi Jean and my time in New Orleans, and I talked about my veneer follow-up and our teddy bear ride a little bit. You can tell more detail next time you're on, because I've already moved on to my D&M Leasing commercial shoot.
We make things easy.
We make leasing easy.
We make leasing easy at D&M.
Well, that's close.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. The tune was a little off, but that's okay. So I was just talking about that and Jeff, Corin and everything. So we were just having a good time, just us.
Okay.
You can stay if you want.
Well, I'll put the mic down. I'll drop this mic and I'll walk right back out of here.
Stay if you want.
No, I had a couple of stories to tell. Do you want me to jump in here?
If you want, or
just
you can save
quick?
it. It does not. Whatever you want to do, honey.
Well,
it is your podcast as well.
Yes. I planned on telling I had two huge BOTA stories happen to me over the last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you do want to share them now? You don't want to save them? It's fine.
Well, I want to save one of them
because I'm really almost done.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell one, I'll save one, and then I'm out. Okay. So I took one of my motorcycle rides that I usually do. I time these when you have Tomi Jean here because I know you guys are gonna be out running around, so I go on a ride. So I've done this the last 3 years, I guess. I go down to go down to like the hill country and ride around there and see the things I need to see to get my patch for the Motorcycle Grand Tour of Texas. So I did my 25 stops. I'm official. I get my patch now. I didn't do them all on this ride. I did number 22, 23, 24, and 25. So I'm done for the year. So anyway, I left Monday morning at like 6:45 in the morning. Left pretty early because I wanted to beat the traffic out of Dallas. I just pass Fort Worth. I'm south of Fort Worth. Okay. This is BOTA story number 1. And I got the cruise control set on 70 miles per hour.
Which was the speed limit, exactly.
Speed limit was 70 miles an hour. The cruise control is set at 70 miles per hour. 100%, that is how I do it, okay? I get the little notification on my iPhone that you get that says speed trap ahead. You ever seen these pop up on your iPhone? You got navigation going and it'll say speed trap ahead.
Yeah, usually Waze will say there's a police officer ahead.
Yeah, Waze does it too.
I can't see when I'm riding on my Can-Am Riker because my screen doesn't do that. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Well,
too bumpy.
Well, mine does. So it said speed trap ahead. Do I have anything to be worried about?
No, you're going the speed limit.
I'm going the speed limit. So no, I don't have anything to be worried about. So I don't have to take it off cruise. I don't have to hit the brakes. I don't have to do anything. I am listening to a podcast, Victor Davis Hanson, the great Victor Davis Hanson, and just cruising down the road at 70 miles an hour. Okay, so I see the speed trap. Now, what was unusual about the speed trap is it wasn't just one highway patrolman. It was at least 5 to 6, maybe 7 highway patrolmen.
All lined up along the side of the road?
For several miles. I would see one, go another, like a half a mile, there's another. Go another, like quarter mile, there's another.
It was the end of the month, and I told Alan, I've heard, they have to hit their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They have to hit a certain quota, and if they don't have it, they really crack down at the end of the month, right? Is that true?
I don't know. If you work for the Department of Public Safety as a state trooper,
well, that's what we've
email
heard.
us at podcast@kellieisland.com. Anyway, so I see these troopers on the side of the road. I don't think anything about it, okay? Because I'm going the speed limit, listening to a podcast, having a good time, cruising down the road.
Had they pulled anybody over, or were they all just sitting in their cars?
They all had lights on, and they all were next to a car.
Okay, so they were all actively running plates or something.
That's what I thought. So I pass all of them, and I'm in the slow lane, the left lane. They're on
the right lane, you mean?
The right lane. They are off the shoulder,
on
like
the
almost in the grass. Okay, and there's cars passing me in the fast lane. It's a 2-lane. So there's semis passing me. There's other cars passing me because nobody goes the speed limit except me because I'm the biggest dad driver there is.
True.
So I go down the road about a mile after seeing all these guys, and I'm just listening to the podcast, just happier than a pig in you-know-what.
Slop.
Yeah. And I look in my rearview mirror, and what do I see?
Can I guess?
Guess.
I already know.
A highway patrolman with his lights on. And I'm like, so I don't immediately pull over because I'm thinking maybe he's about to go around me and go catch up with the guys that are speeding.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
He did a little whoop whoop.
No, he didn't give me the whoop whoop. He stayed right there. And I'm thinking to myself, you better pull over. So I pulled over. So I pull over. I put my blinker on, pull over. I'm on the shoulder. He pulls over right up behind me. I turn the ignition off. I'm not giving him any reason to be nervous or upset or anything. I turn the ignition off, take my gloves off, take my helmet off, set it on my rearview mirror. And Mr. State Trooper comes up next to me.
Was he handsome?
He was. They all are. It
They
seems
are.
like
Something about state troopers.
Yeah, it seems like they all are.
Yeah.
But anyway, he comes up next to me, and I say, "Hey, officer," and he goes, "Hey, how you doing? You have any idea why I pulled you over?" And I said, "Officer, I have no idea."
They always say that's what you should say, even if you know you were
Really?
speeding. They always say you don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I truly didn't know. I said, "Officer, I have no idea." He goes, "Well, you were going 79 in a 70." Okay. Now, one thing I don't do, I will go BOTA on somebody that tells me that coffee is tea. Yeah. I will go BOTA on somebody that tells me I can't grow grass under a magnolia tree from seed, which turned out to be true. Yeah. But anyway, I will debate that. I will go BOTA on a lot of things. One thing I'm not going to go BOTA on is a highway patrolman. No. So I just said, "Officer, I don't see how that's possible because I had my cruise control set at 70 miles an hour, which I always do."
Do you think it's possible your cruise control was calibrated wrong or something?
No, I don't. And here's why. Because that cruise control on that motorcycle is optimistic, meaning when it's set on 70, I'm actually only going 67, 68, 69. I'm actually going under the speed limit.
Okay.
The way I know that is I've passed numerous, you know how they have the automatic, it tells you how fast you're going.
Yeah,
and if you're going too fast, it flashes at you.
Yeah.
I'll pass those with my cruise control set at 70 and it shows me 67, 68, 69.
Okay.
Every single time. So I know that that is set correctly and even a little optimistically.
Well, there's another way you're going to find out it was set correctly.
So I said to him, officer, I don't think that's possible because I had my cruise control set at 70 miles an hour. He goes, huh? He goes, you have your license and registration? I said, yeah, absolutely. Or my insurance and license? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I give it to him. And he said, okay, well, let me check this out. I'll be back in a second. So I'm just sitting there, just la-di-da-di-da. Car's blowing by me at 75, 78, you know. Mm-hmm. He comes back. He's like, sir, well, you weren't speeding. So now I wasn't speeding.
Oh.
Yeah, he goes, you weren't speeding, but here's what I need you to do. Whenever you see us pulled over with flashing lights, I need you to slow down to 20 miles an hour under the speed limit.
Yeah.
And then you need to switch lanes. You need to get out of the lane you're in if you see us on the side of the road.
For safety.
For safety.
Yeah.
I understand.
That makes sense.
But I said, okay, I will absolutely do that, officer. I am so sorry. I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
And that sounds like, a little warning. That sounds like a warning.
Exactly. So at this point,
just so you understand moving forward,
right,
that's a law. I don't recall being asked that on a driver's test. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was, but how long has it been since we've taken a driver's test?
Long time.
Right? So maybe it was and we just forgot that. But it's good to know when you see an officer, highway, police, whatever, on the side of the road, get over in the middle lane and slow down at least 20 miles underneath the speed limit.
And I understand.
Yes.
They don't want people blowing by them when they're right there on the side of the road.
It's scary. And they've had officers, have some tragic fates because of that.
So I thought with my cheerful, happy-go-lucky AE attitude, my non-threatening demeanor, my turning off of the machine and giving him every reason to think I'm a responsible rider, that he would give me a warning.
I would have thought.
So after I said, thank you for telling me that, officer, I had no idea. He goes, all right, well, let me write you up a ticket. I'll be back here in just a second.
Oh, you get crickets for that?
That was my response when he said that. So he goes back to the truck.
That's how you started your motorcycle tour.
So he goes back to the truck and he comes back and I'm just like, I'm not upset. I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. And he showed me the ticket and he actually wrote the wrong date that I needed to appear by. He put the current date as the date I needed to appear by. So we noticed that and he had to go back to the truck, redo the ticket, come back. And he showed me the ticket and it's not for speeding. It says failed to change lanes. So I have a month to...
what's the fine on that one?
I don't know. I got a call or appear by the honorable judge in Eastland.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's far. I mean, I was south of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And get this straightened out. So it was a BOTA match, but...
One-sided.
It was one-sided, and I didn't win.
Well, as our friend who works in law enforcement told us, and I will not name names,
yes,
that highway patrolmen, and this is not my words, I'm just repeating, are mean and would give a ticket to their own mother. That's what I was told.
Okay, now I will defend our...
That's what I was told.
I will defend our wonderful Department of Public Safety troopers because...
As we've just said earlier, they're all extremely handsome.
They are handsome, but here's the deal. I was telling Kellie this when I told her what happened. I have been pulled over 4 times in my entire life. That's how much of a dad driver I am. One was when I was 17. I got a ticket for doing an illegal U-turn. Another was...
You're still learning at that point.
Right. Another was when I was in my 40s. No, another was when I was in my 20s, coming back from tech in my Honda Civic, and I was going 78 in a 70, and he pulled me over, and he gave me a warning.
Must have been the end of the month.
It was a DPS. He gave me a warning.
That was nice of him. He must have been a techie.
The third was when I was in the minivan with Dylan wailing in the back seat because he had a dirty diaper, and this was when I was solo, and I had the 2 other kids in the car, and they were like, what is going on? And I was really trying to get home to change the dirty diaper, got pulled over. The policeman, it was Plano police. He saw what was going on. He said, why are you going so fast? I said, I'm trying to get this guy home so I can change his
Is he screaming the whole time?
His poo-poo diaper.
Or right when the police, he just started cooing?
No, he was crying the entire time. And he goes, okay, I understand. He's like, slow down. You're going too fast. I'm like, okay. And he's warning. I was on my way.
Nice.
And then this time on the motorcycle, I wasn't speeding, but I didn't change lanes.
That's interesting that he changed his reason for pulling you over. And you know what? You could maybe explain that to the judge too.
I don't know.
If you want to, or just pay the fine, do that online class and just get it. So you don't want
I'm not going to fight it because he's right. At the end of the day, he's right.
Yeah, but he didn't pull you over for that.
But he didn't pull me over for that.
That's
so I'm wondering if he radared me and I'm not kidding, babe. I'm in the right lane. There's cars passing me.
So maybe he thought it was somebody.
Maybe he thought
it accidentally registered somebody else.
But then once he's got me pulled over, is it like, okay, well, he wasn't speeding, but I'm gonna get him for something. He really should have switched lanes. I don't know.
Well, there's that. Do you want to tell your second BOTA match, or can I pause for this?
But pause and let's do a little bit of this.
I am so happy Legacy Box is now our podcast sponsor. We have seen some serious natural disasters this year. Unfortunately, some people lost everything. But what I hear a lot of them say, and I'm sure you've heard it too, things can be replaced, but the photos and the home memories they lose cannot. And it's so important to preserve those VHS tapes. You can't watch anyway. You don't have a VCR, or photos that aren't stored properly because they could all be gone in a flash. Now, I protected mine forever with Legacy Box. It's so simple. You just load up the box with whatever you got. Old tapes, photos, film reels, slides, seriously anything. Legacy Box's team of professionals take care of the rest, digitizing everything by hand. They send you back the originals, plus your perfectly preserved memories that are brought back to life, stored safely on a thumb drive or the cloud. And it's so easy to share. I immediately shared an old home movie with my favorite cousin Cindy back in South Carolina, and we were able to see her dad, my favorite Uncle Herb, again, and that was a priceless moment.
For a limited time only, you can visit legacybox.com/sandwich and save 50%. That's legacybox.com/sandwich to shop 50% off. The sale won't last long. legacybox.com/sandwich.
I think everybody's had that moment where they say, I should start my own business. Now, maybe you've got an amazing hot sauce recipe, or you've gotten really great at making candles or jewelry, and all your friends keep telling you you should sell that stuff. Well, what's stopping you? If you've been sitting on a business idea, Shopify makes it easy to make it happen. Everything you need to start selling is included and ready from day one. When your first customer is ready to buy, Shopify Checkout helps more people actually complete the purchase. And when they come back, their information's already saved. So checkout is quick and easy. One tap and they're done. Shopify handles all the technical stuff too, the setup and checkout, so you can spend your time growing your business and doing what you actually love. It's no wonder Shopify powers millions of businesses around the world, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to small businesses just getting started like yours. With Shopify, nothing stands between your idea and a real business, so go make it one. Start your free trial at shopify.com/sandwich. That's shopify.com/sandwich. One more time, shopify.com/sandwich. Now that I've reached a certain age, I realize how much my sleep affects me and everybody around me. It affects my energy, my mood, my patience. And I've also learned that I don't need to waste a lot on fancy sleep gadgets, because one of the best things I've done is upgrade to Boll and Branch sheets. I noticed the difference from night one. They are incredibly soft, so breathable. It's because Boll and Branch's sheets are made with 100% organic cotton that's woven specifically for airflow. Now I don't wake up feeling hot with sheets sticking to my legs anymore. My sheets keep me cool and comfortable all night long. And they've actually gotten softer with every wash. They even did a survey of their customers. 94% of them said the same thing. I love my Boll and Branch sheets, and honestly, I can't imagine ever going back to any other bedding. Sleep cooler this summer with Boll and Branch during their annual summer event. For a limited time, get 20% off site-wide at bollandbranch.com/sandwich with code SANDWICH. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/sandwich. Code SANDWICH to take 20% off. bollandbranch.com/sandwich, code SANDWICH. Exclusions apply.
Isn't it Uncle Herb?
No, it's Uncle Herb.
Well, I thought HERB was herb.
I know. Oh, are you going to do that TikTok guy again?
Hannah Herb?
And the guy that mispronounces words. No.
Oh, no. I love that
That's
guy.
herb. What? How do you say this word? Ohm? No. It's home.
Why would you think? It's good. Yeah, he's funny.
All right. So BOTA number 2.
You want me to tell BOTA number 2?
Well, you might as well. I mean, or do you want to save it? You can save it.
We'll bring it home for. Or was that?
No, the only other thing I was pretty much done with my D&M leasing spot. It was really interesting.
We make leasing easy at D&M.
Well, that's close. It was just, a lot of, they did my testimonials. And of course, I'm super self-conscious. I feel like I told the guy, he wanted me to look serious at some points. I said, look, I'm going to look like I have really bad resting bitch face. I'm not being self-deprecating. It's really bad, and I'm going to look angry. And I tried, and of course, Tomi Jean's taking pictures, and I was right. So hopefully, they won't use any of that. But then, they have when you see people film commercials, it's really interesting to see how the sausage is made. Is that what they say? Where they wanted to get a lot of close-ups of my hands. I'm like, well, if I'd known that, I would have gotten a manicure, but that's okay. And then they wanted to just get some different shots of me looking over my left shoulder, looking over my right shoulder, kind of laughing, kind of looking up, and different things like that. And so I'm just sitting there doing that, looking around. They had a lot of shots of me walking down a sidewalk, and I'm just walking and walking till they tell me to stop. And all I can think of is, how does my butt look in these pants? This is like things I didn't think about that I was going to need to worry about. But Tomi Jean, of course, was very complimentary. We were there for quite some time. And then we celebrated Alan with a martini.
All right.
That was basically just to wrap up what I was in the middle of telling. I just kind of gave the highlights there. But it's been a really fun time. I think I have worn her out, though. And she's resting now. So anyway, finish your second, whatever you want to do.
Oh, well, how much have you told about the teddy bear ride?
I told just that it was really how cool it was when they were blocking off the roads for us. It was like like if you were in a presidential motorcade. I talked about how cool that was. That really was cool.
That really was cool.
And just that, the reason we were there, and how Tomi Jean rode with me.
Did you tell everybody we were Grand Marshals?
I did. I said we were the Grand Marshals, but I kind of left it there.
So a Grand Marshal is like a ceremonial, I think most people know this. It's like in a parade, you might have a Grand Marshal who typically is in the front of the parade.
Right.
And leads the event or leads the parade or whatever.
Right. That's how that usually works.
So we were asked to be Grand Marshals for this event. So Kellie and I were going to ride our vehicles. I rode a motorcycle. Kellie rode her Can-Am Ryker. So that morning, we were told to be there at around 8:30 in the morning. And registration started way earlier than that, but we were told to be there at 8:30. So our friends Brandon and Sarah were also going to ride with us.
The other members of the Chitlin gang.
And so they came to Evans Manor, and then we all four rode over to IKEA.
Well, 5. Tomi Jean was riding
and Tomi Jean
with
you, yeah. So all 5 of us rode over to IKEA in Frisco, which is 10 minutes away. Okay. So we ride over there, and we're there right at 8:30. We see people flagging the riders in to come line up, go line up. So the first guy I see, I pull up to him, and all of the rest of the group is behind me.
Because you're Big Sausage. You're our leader.
I'm Big Sausage. And we're not talking to each other, like we don't have our radios on, so they can't hear what I'm saying. But I went up to the first guy, and I said, we are the Grand Marshals, my wife and I, for this ride. He's like, oh, great.
And these are our 2 friends
and
who are with us.
These are our 2 friends that
They're
are
all
with
together.
us. Right. I'm like, where do we go? He's like, go over there to the guy in the flashlight.
All right.
I'm like, okay.
Moving on.
Go to this guy. Hey, we're the Grand Marshals for the event, me and my wife. And our 2 friends are riding with us. Where do I go? He goes, pull up here and go to that person right there that's flagging people down. Okay. I'm like, okay.
Moving on.
I'm moving to the next guy. So I got that. Hey.
We went through this several times.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Hey, I'm the Grand Marshal for the ride.
Right.
And this is my wife
You
behind
told
me.
several people
she's
that
the Grand
we were
Marshal
the Grand
too.
Marshals.
Where do I go? He's like, park right here. I'm like, okay. So I park right here, just like he told me.
Yeah. And I
then
parked right behind
Kellie
you.
parks behind me. Sarah and Brandon park behind Kellie.
That's right.
And we all get off our bikes, and we're just kind of looking around, saying hi to some people. And one of the event coordinators comes over to me, and I said, am I in the right place? And she goes, yeah. And I said, so I started to kind of wonder, like, how is this all going to work? So I asked her, I said, So we're being led by a motor cop, a policeman on a motorcycle.
Right.
And she goes, yeah. And I said, so when we're getting ready to go, he's going to come over here right in front of me, right? And then he's going to wait a minute so we can, follow him, right? And she goes, yeah, that's how it's going to work. He's going to lead you out of here. And I said, okay, great. Does he know that? Like, does he know that we're here? Like, we're the Grand Marshals? And she goes, well, I'm not sure, but I'll be sure he knows before we go. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, cool. So all taken care of in my mind. So Kellie and I had to say a few words to the group, and there ended up being over 200 motorcycles at the event. It's a pretty big one, but not as big as they've had in the past. They've had as many as 800, 900 motorcycles. So this is small, but this, to me,
Still
it was
big,
like a lot of people. Yeah. So we say a few words, have some coffee, have some breakfast, glad-handed a little bit, and just partake in the fellowship.
It's time to get kickstands up.
Everybody goes to their bike. Okay, we get on our bikes, kickstands up. Everybody's got their helmets and stuff on. I can hear all the bikes firing up. Here comes the moto cop. He comes right over here in front of me, and he stops. And I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. He pulls off. And then about 20 motorcycles pull out in front of me. And he doesn't know like what's going on behind him.
He was just told to stop and then go.
He was just told to stop and then go. So he goes and all these other motorcycles are going. So now I'm panicking a little bit. Nobody can hear anything. You can't say anything and anyone's going to hear you. So I just start pulling out to go so I can catch up with the motocop. One of the event personnel gives me the stop, like the palm out.
Yeah.
No,
because he didn't know what you were doing.
He didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
He thought I was.
He had not been told you were the Grand Marshal.
He had not been told I was the Grand Marshal.
That's right.
Even though 10 minutes ago I was up on the scissor lift talking to the entire group.
But he's been working managing the crowd. He might not have been able to
True.
hear or see.
True. Okay.
Not his fault.
So he tells me to stop, and I stop. I'm not going to break the rules. I stop. I'm like, okay. And I just kind of shrug my shoulders like, okay. The person that I talked to when I first got there ran over to him and said, he's the Grand Marshal, like that. And he goes, oh, and puts his hand to his head. So then what I think he did, somebody radioed the motor cop, and he stopped. He's like 300 yards away now. And all these motorcycles are following him, probably 20 or 30. They all stop.
Yeah.
Everyone stops. He then, the guy that told me to stop, says, go. So I go.
And then I follow
and
you.
And then you follow.
Sarah and Brandon.
And Sarah and Brandon follow.
Attempt to follow.
Right. Okay. This is a long setup, guys. I know. But we're gonna get to the BOTA. I had to tell you all of that to get to the BOTA. So we kind of, matriculate out of the parking lot. There was a little bit of drama, us trying to get all together.
Yeah.
But
we're passing other bikers because we had to get to the front, not thinking this was going to be an issue until it was.
Okay. So I'm waving Kellie, like, come up. And she's like shaking her head, shrugging her shoulders.
Because there was somebody in front of me next to you, and I couldn't go around.
That was a cluster.
So this man to my left starts yelling at me. And he's like, go back. And I'm like, what? Why? And he's just like, go back. And so I look up at Alan and nobody can hear. We don't have our headsets on. So, and there's motors running. I've got a helmet on blocking my mouth. There's no lip reading going on. And so Alan's talking to the biker next to him, explaining, my wife's also a Grand Marshal. When we pull out of the parking lot, can you just, and I don't know what's being said. I gathered as what transpired. He asked the biker to pull over a little bit so I could scoot in and get with you, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's what happened. So I waved to the person, thanked them, because this is all just one big misunderstanding. And I get behind Alan. So it's this man, it's the motorcycle cop, this man that's been on dozens and dozens of rides with my motorcycle covered in teddy bears, Alan and me, and I don't know what's going on behind me after that.
Okay.
And then we went for an hour and 15 minutes or so on the ride.
So we go on the ride. The order is the motorcycle cop, the guy with 160 teddy bears on his bike, which I let him go because I thought, this dude's done it for like 22 years in a row.
Yeah, he deserves that spot.
Okay, yeah, go. He even said, go if you want. I'm like, no, you go in front of me because you're going to be slower anyway. You might as well just
place of honor.
We'll all go the speed that you're going. It's fine. So then he goes. Then it's me, the Grand Marshal. Then it's Kellie, the Grand Marshal. And then behind us, we're not sure who's behind us.
We're assuming it was Sarah and Brandon.
I'm assuming it was Sarah and
Anyway.
Brandon. So we do the ride. It's wonderful, beautiful. All these bikes got all these teddy bears and stuffed animals on them. We go up through Frisco, Salina, Anna, Melissa, Allen, and back to Plano. The end point was back to Plano, not super close to IKEA, but kind of a big circle. Okay.
Hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15 minutes. It was fun. Lots of fun. And remember, this is all for abused children, and we're delivering teddy bears and stuffed animals. Okay. So we get to the end point. They got a big carnival set up. They got booths. They got all this silent auction. They've got music, a band, free ice cream. Really cool. All this really cool stuff. And this big pit where you're supposed to throw your teddy bears, like when you get off your bike. So the motocop gets there first, the guy with the teddy bears. I park right next to the motocop, and he's smiling.
You fist bump.
I said, "Sir, that was awesome." He's like, "Yes, sir. Thank you so much." We fist bump, and I am taking my gear off, and here comes a guy. He had parked his bike. He comes beelining right at me with veins bulging out of his neck. He was red-faced. And I don't know, he was 75. I don't know how.
I don't know if he was that old. About 70.
Okay,
though, I
old
think.
guy.
Yeah.
Old guy.
Yeah,
He's probably got
older.
he's probably got other things he should be worried about. But he's gonna come over to me. Okay. So I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's beelining.
I recognized him.
Yeah. So he beelines right at me, and I'm taking my stuff off, and he looks right at me, and he's on the other side of my bike, and he goes, "We need to have a conversation." That's not usually how you talk to somebody that you don't know.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I've ever gone up to somebody and said that I don't know, "We need to have a conversation." So I look up at him, and I'm like, and I can tell this is going to be a BOTA match. I'm like, about what?
Why are you making faces at me?
Because
so
I'm trying to
mean?
act like
Well,
this
we're on a podcast. Nobody can see you.
So I'm like, about what? And he said, "You don't ever get out of line and cut in front of people at a thing like this." And I said, "I did everything I was supposed to do as the Grand Marshal." He goes, "You're the Grand Marshal?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Well, you should have told somebody."
Now, this was in an elevated. Alan's being very low. He was a little heated.
Yeah. He said, "Well, you should have told somebody."
He was yelling this.
I said, "I was the guy up on the scaffold making the speech when we first started. Maybe you missed that part." He goes, "Well, how come you didn't tell anybody?" I said, "I told everybody, including the 5 or 6 people that ushered me in here and told me to park up at the front of the line." So I guess what he thought was I purposely cut him off.
Right. He thought we were cutting line
Right.
just to be up front.
Right.
He was the one that was yelling at me to get back,
Yeah.
get back.
I'm
And I
like-
was like, why? I don't know what's going
I'm like,
on.
"Dude, I was just doing what I was told to do at the teddy bear ride. So why don't you just chill the out?"
You didn't say
no,
that.
and go throw your teddy bear in the pit.
You didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
You just kind of were like, I did
I
tell
just
somebody.
was very matter of fact. I did tell somebody. And he goes, "Well, I know you just wanted to be here to take pictures and stuff." And I said, "Yes, sir. That's part of my job here is to take pictures and stuff for social media. That's why I'm here." And then he just walks off.
He stormed off. Yeah, that was, and what I told Alan, I said the sad part about that really is that for an hour and 15 minutes, he stewed on that and he ruined his experience. And, and it's a lesson to all of us. We can't let whatever we perceive as a slight. It's like, in the 4 agreements, when somebody cuts you off in traffic, it has nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally. Don't let it ruin your day. And it can ruin your day and lead to road rage. That man let that little incident, that misunderstanding, ruin his ride. That's a shame.
Now here's the deal. I will 100% if I am in the wrong, take accountability and say, "You are exactly right. I did the wrong thing. But that's not what happened here.
No,
I
we were
was
just doing what
only
we're supposed to do.
I was only doing what I was asked to do and what I was told to do.
Yeah.
That is all I did. So when somebody comes bowing up at me, about what I'm
Yeah,
supposed
you
to
didn't
do.
really blow up. Though. You were very calm.
I had a problem with that. I
I know you
really did.
but you were calm. The officer was there, and
no, and
it wasn't escalating to the point where it was gonna be a fight. But the man was real heated.
But then after he walked off, the moto cop looked at me. He's like, "What was his problem?" And I said, "I don't know. I think he thought like I cut in front of him, but I told him I was just trying. I was told to go to the front of the line." He's like, "Sounds like he was having a really bad day."
Yeah, he really did. So we're sorry about that.
Yeah,
but we don't want that to overshadow the good that was done that
There was
day.
lots of good done.
And we enjoyed our ride
I enjoyed my ride.
because we were up front.
But you know how these BOTA events, they seem to follow me around. So I was telling
you attract, that
Why?
the energy you put out comes back to you. Good attracts good.
Well, I was telling the
BOTA
chilling gang
attracts
about this.
BOTA.
I'm like, people want to tell me coffee is tea. They want to tell me I don't know how to grow grass. They want to tell me all these things. They want to tell me I can't cut in front of the line when I'm the Grand Marshal. Like, why? And I think Brandon said, what is the common denominator here?
Yeah. Brandon had a great point.
Wow.
He did.
Wow.
Well, I'm just agreeing with Brandon.
Wow. Okay.
But anyway, it's just you put good things out there, and that was honestly not your fault, honey.
Wait a minute. Riding an hour and a half with Elmo, the Cookie Monster, in Big Bird and a generic gorilla on my bike is not putting good energy out there?
You were doing lewd things with Elmo.
No, I wasn't.
You were taking lewd pictures, sending them.
I
to
only
the
sent that to the family
sending
text.
the family text. And it wasn't like he was defiling Elmo. He was just making creepy eye fit photos with him.
You say my eyes
even our sweet precious, is she even 12 yet, or she's still 11? Niece said it looks like Uncle Alan's doing something bad to Elmo
Oh.
because your creepy eyes.
I was just making the creepy face.
Yeah, it is creepy.
The creepy eyes face.
Creepy face. Anyway.
Okay, so there you go. We can Andrea Dowling Gullidge, if you would please document that as another BOTA match. A-Train versus the crusty, grumpy biker, who, by the way, left immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was embarrassed or he was just pissed off.
Yeah. Or maybe he just had to go somewhere.
But he wasn't.
He didn't stick around.
He didn't stick around to partake in any of the festivities.
No, it's okay.
Which is probably good.
Yeah, his
I
day
think
was
that
ruined.
I think that was good for him.
His day was ruined.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But hopefully we made somebody's day with this podcast. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for the first half of it until, Alan joined. It was a lovely surprise, honey. You gave up watching the World Series to sit with me.
It's 4-0 Yanks. I'm not sure what's happened since I've been in here.
Well,
beating my gums.
go
But
find out.
we'll go find out.
But
Okay.
you want to wrap it up? I was going to do it, but you can do it because you're here. You're my big sausage leader.
Well, I love you desperately.
I love
I
you.
love our listeners desperately.
I love y'all.
I love our law enforcement desperately. That includes Texas DPS.
Yes, it is. So handsome.
Even though I had a BOTA match and lost.
So handsome.
I love desperately the Advocacy Center of Collin County. They do great work, and that was a great event, and I was glad to be a part of it. So thank you very much for having us. And I am sure we will podcast again real soon. And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich.